Welcome to the first annual holiday celebration of We in Lewes, a podcast dedicated to celebrating the remarkable, creative, and energetic people who live in Lewes and are helping our community forge a collective soul as appealing as it is unique. They are the We in Lewes. My name is Kevin McGinnis. We're joined today by most of our guests, actually all of our guests from the first season. This is their show, these are their stories, and they are the proof why Lewes is such an exceptional town. Sitting around the bar today, and please hold all of your applause until we get through the whole group, we are joined by Stuart Griffin, Carol Short, Judy Melson, Nancy Moore, Sue Hall, and Patsy Carpenter. I always have to say this, Chief Tom Smell, Matt DeSab, John Gordon, Heidi Lowe, Jeff West, Jeff Mason, Andrew Leiter, and Sharon Dardine. And last but not least, Dave Shook. As you probably figured out, we're recording this episode in front of our first ever live audience here at Kindle. So please, let's hear it for today's audience. Yeah. The other day, a woman stopped me on the street and said, "Why do you always say we when you talk about the podcast?" She then, apparently from the South, goes, "Do you have a frog in your pocket?" Bless her heart, she obviously grew up in the South. No frog, I explained, but the show is a team effort. Let me introduce them. Steve Esfandieri, our engineer and the proverbial calm in the ongoing storm. Steve, raise your hand, please. From a technical standpoint, without Steve, we wouldn't be on the air. And it's so refreshing to work with someone who answers every question, no matter how stupid, with, "Don't worry, we'll figure it out." Thanks, brother. Matt, our landlord and first friend. Everyone knows Matt, and this is what's so amazing about him. Everyone who meets Matt automatically considers him a friend. Am I right? Yes. He's been instrumental in suggesting guests, convincing guests to appear, and making sure we always finish feeling better than when we started. I gotta say, Matt, if you ever get tired of this restaurant stuff, you have a career in coaching businesses. Ray Damager, Ray's out in the back, he's over there. Ray designed our logo, our brand, and designed the info cards we're using to spread the word. Please, upon leaving, please take a card and give it to friends. It's all about the podcast and tells them where to go. Every job Ray does includes his own singular touch. If you look closely at our logo, you'll see the microphone is tweaked just a bit, so it looks like one of the World War II watchtowers out at Cape Henlopen State Park. Thanks, Ray. The Williams brothers. They couldn't make it today. They're still in school. But they created and recorded the music that starts and finishes every episode. They're incredible musicians and even more impressive young men. I strongly recommend you go see them the next time they're playing in the area, because soon you're going to have to pay for the privilege. And last but not least, Josh Barr, the owner of Shorebreak. Josh couldn't join us today, but we put him under extreme mental duress. And as a result, he became the official clothier of the podcast. And it's not because Steve and I need clothes, but because of his involvement, we'll soon have our own baseball cap. Today, we're going to have some fun, talk a bit about the show, and end with something on the holidays. We found that each episode comes with a memorable line, one that embodies the personality of the guest. At times, Steve and I refer to the episode not by the person's name, but by the memorable line. We thought we'd have a short quiz to see if you can guess which line appears to which guest. Everyone, and I mean everyone, feel free to shout out your answer, especially if you're listening at home. So here's the first. Don't worry, it's just a file box, an ordinary file box. Yes.
Chief Spell, right?
That's right, Chief Spell. By the way, having learned from personal experience, if he's starting to ask you questions as a detective, just answer them. He's going to get it out of you. It's scary. I tell all my kids the same thing. The late show is the great show. Shooky. Oh, God, we went to Shooky? I'm so sorry. Please, I'm just here to see my friend. But we both know I'm redecorating in my head. Yes.
Who else could it be, right?
What's said on the walk stays on the walk. When it comes to missing, an inch is as good as a mile. Stuart. By the way, Stuart, I still can't believe that story. I mean, you were literally inches from hitting and taking out the Delaware Bay Bridge. That's just an incredible story. I feel more comfortable driving my boat than my car. Say it. That's right. I like myself, I like my dog, and I like Netflix.
Share.
Yes. That's probably, in terms of mental health, the best answer of them all.
It's a good order.
This is the best thing I've ever done. I get to work with fire. It's magic. Heidi, yep. That's right, that's Heidi. Hey, forget the last minute. Let me explain the last 6 seconds. John Gordon, that's right. John Gordon. Taken out of context, this sounds a little wrong, but it's the line we loved. That's one of my 3 vices. Andrew. That's right, that's Andrew. Actually, I think, Andrew, with some of the editing we did, one of your vices got cut.
My
I
mother
know.
asked for the third
Yes, I know.
one. She hopped all sorts of crazy conclusions.
Well, that was our intent.
Good.
And here's the last one. That's actually maybe not a terrible question, Kevin. Jen. And the interview went down from there. Each of your episodes has made our podcast so much more than the series of individual stories we thought we were going to start with. We've learned how to start a business. We've learned about taking risks, the power of humility, listening to your gut, leaping into the unknown, and being part of your community. Because of you, the podcast actually offers more than we ever anticipated. Matt, it's obvious you enjoyed great success with restaurants. Yet unlike most entrepreneurs, you're willing to take business advice from others, which in fact led to your 3rd restaurant. Why?
Oh, that's a fun question.
Normally that means it's not a fun question.
True. Well, we were working on our 2nd restaurant, and our good friend Heidi grabbed me one day and, told us she had a space available and just planted this seed in our head, and, I couldn't get it out. So our group, came up with a concept extremely fast, like in 2 hours, and put everything together, and we were off and running.
That's when you know it's a thing.
That's right. It was just organic and quick.
Well, for those of us who've worked with entrepreneurs in other lives and other careers, it's pretty remarkable. It's most don't like to take advice from anyone. They have all the answers. Jeff, Sharon, you both talked about taking advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. For most of us, it's difficult to jump into uncharted waters, into the next opportunity, without a lot of thought. Why were you willing to take the leap?
I've always been willing to do that. Just no trepidation. Just go ahead and do it. See what happens.
What a marvelous, marvelous way to live life.
I'm the same. I like the excitement of the unknown. I'm a Leo. I just do it. If you think about it too long, you'll never do it. So you can't think too much. You just have to kind of jump.
Susan, Carol, and the others, at what point did you realize that something as ordinary as walking in the morning can turn into the kind of sustained life friendship so many of us can only dream about?
I think we knew from the very beginning that we had something special with having taught and having children through sports, that we had a special friendship. I don't think we knew quite how special it was until you approached us and wanted to do the podcast. Like, we just knew we were very good friends. Judy?
And also, we're pretty health conscious. And Susan's doctor said, Susan, just keep moving. So that's our motto, keep moving, which we do with our walking. And we have fun as we're moving.
And we solve the problems of the world, just so you know.
Yes, yeah, we do have the answers.
If you have a problem, just let us know, because we'll solve it for you.
Chief, you've had an absolutely impressive career in law enforcement, but you made sure it didn't stop you from let me try that again. Sorry. As all of you know who've been recorded here, English is my third language, so periodically it becomes a challenge. Yes, thanks. You've had such an impressive career in law enforcement, but you made sure it didn't stop you from having an equally impressive career as a father. How'd you do that?
Well, I see the eyes behind me looking at me. There's a remarkable woman behind me who makes sure that we've always been on the same page as parents. We've always, guided our children pretty similarly and made them, aspire to be more than just average and do what they could to make sure that they succeed. So my remarkable wife, Ellen, obviously, and I were able to just, focus them, become good people, good citizens, and they just took the ball and ran. Former school teacher, police officer, they had a good service orientation, ingrained in them since they were young. And, I'll give them the credit. They learned from that and took it to the next level.
Well, taking it to the next level, if I remember it, all three kids went to West Point.
Correct, yes. And they had a great tennis coach.
Heidi and Dave. Heidi, in your episode, you literally turned the car around because you knew you were heading in the wrong direction for your business. And Dave, you were willing to push outside of the life others expected of you and follow your own expectations. How did you both have the courage to do that?
I think I was just naive. I was like, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this until I can't try it anymore. And in that, I figured things out. But I wasn't afraid because I didn't know what to be afraid of.
Oh, I'm Dave now? You don't know how to respond to that. No, I'll be honest with you. I've never had a job in my life where my first name was used.
Hey, Shook.
My old man didn't call me Dave.
We're recording now, so let's be adults.
And what was the question? I wasn't even paying attention because I didn't know you were talking to me, but obviously I just roll along in life and good things happen to me, and I'm grateful for all of it. So I just keep paying back. The more I pay back, the more nice things come to me. So what goes around comes around. Has always been what I felt. So,
thanks, Jen. You tucked into your hilarious, candid life story a nugget of advice I think we all should remember. When you were starting your business, you weren't too proud to ask for help. That wasn't a sign of weakness. Clearly, it was empowering, right?
Yeah. Well, and it was empowering in the way that it connected me even more meaningfully within the community. So the people who stepped forward, I would take their hand, and yeah, that connection. It's a good thing.
I think some of us have been trained not to ask for help. That's not what you're supposed to do. I think the way you shared your story, it's actually the reverse.
Yes?
I know. You all chose to be involved in our community. Obviously, the community has benefited heavily, but so did you. Is that true? Chief Spell.
Yeah, I'll just say absolutely yes. The very nature of this podcast, the number of talented, smart people in Lewes, if you don't get out there and ask for help from those people, then shame on you.
Jeff.
No question. We all benefit from a community, and a community like this that's grounded well, I think, and where people are here because they wanted that sense of community. They saw it when they got here and they wanted to belong, and once they got here, I think we all did our best to make a difference or do something that was of service somehow. And I think once you're involved with a group like that, everyone benefits and their lives are enriched by it. No question.
Patsy.
One of the big benefits that my family got back from this community is it provided a wonderful hometown upbringing for my children, and my children now want to come back here. In fact, they've moved back because this is where they want to be now. So Lewes has given back to me in that respect. That's brought my children home.
This really came to light when I was taking my father for a walk at the state park, and we got separated. Evidently, I lost him, and this was in the 1980s. And so the word went out after we couldn't find him that he was down, and the community, actually it was more than the community, it was the community, the county, just numerous people. They flew in helicopters. My dad was Howard Schroeder. I don't know if you know the story of him getting lost at the state park or me losing him at the state park, but the number of people who came and volunteered to help was amazing. And it was just a tribute to the community that they would do that.
Nancy.
So as a child, I moved very, very frequently. And as such, I never had friends for an extended period of time. But I imagined that everybody else had close friendships except for me because I moved. And I didn't realize what that meant until I moved here and joined these ladies and became a part of a community. So it just helped me feel something that I imagined that everybody else but me had as a child. And now to be part of that is just an amazing thing to me. Grateful.
Judy.
Just representing 4 retired Cape teachers here, we're just so proud of what we've been through with the kids, and it's so wonderful to see kids grown up and come back and say hello, and it's just been a wonderful journey.
It is just so nice with that small town feeling to live in Lewes.
Jen.
The thing I wanted to speak to was also, it's not just for the people who've been here a long time. And I'm sure the other folks who have businesses downtown see this too. We get so many people coming in new to the area who are, excited to be here and want to be part of things. And that's one of the things I can tell them without, with a complete straight face, that this is the kind of community that is not like, well, if you haven't been here forever, you don't belong. This is the kind of community where if you put out your hand, people will take it, it's not just a place that is for people who've always been here, or for people who've grown up here, or for people who have deep ties. The people who come new into the community, it's like the ocean. No drop of water is more relevant than another when it hits the shore. So we're all just as important. And the people who are here now who want to be part of the community, Lewes is the kind of town where they can, where there are multiple ways to get connected and to be part of things, and people aren't cliquish and pushing people away.
So I was thinking, because I bring a lot of people into the business who are from all over the country. And so they're coming from colleges all over the country. They may be doing an internship or an employment. And, sometimes they'll say like, oh, Lewes is like, there's nobody my age here. And I go, maybe there aren't that many people your age, but all the people here have something to give you, and they want to give it to you. So if you open yourself up, there's a lot of people here who have a lot to offer, and that's something that I really instill in them, because, it's dismissive, and then they realize, oh, all of these people come from all of these places, and they all have such a rich life, and then there's an understanding of what is actually here. And so I think it's a nice thing. They get the benefit of that once they've been, privy to it.
John.
We moved here 20 years ago, approximately. And, of course, hearing my podcast, if you did, we're the ones that had the house fire on Savannah Road. And just to see how the community came rushing to help our family, our kids, the dogs, the support we got from the community was unreal. And we're not sure. My wife's from New York. I'm from Wilmington. Wilmington's a small town also. If you live in Sussex County, you don't think so. You think it's New York City. But it was extra special, the feeling that we still have from that whole experience. So really special place. And we're outsiders. We've been here 20 years. We're fairly new. If you've been here long enough, ask the Sussex County, and we're not really Sussex County.
Stuart.
I really enjoyed hearing what Jen and Heidi had to say. I liked Jen's analogy about no drop being more relevant than another in the ocean, and that really resonated with me. And also Heidi talking about the richness of what people bring and the diversity and the energy and the talents. And I'm a BB baby, and I've spent much of my life here, and lucky to have a BB baby. And I think that irrelevance that Jen spoke of is really powerful. And what I've learned so much in the past few years is how much really that people will take your hand, just like John experienced, and like everybody experiences in some way. And the world, our little world here, reflects back at you how much you put into it. And so the more I've gotten involved, the more I've done things, the more, even though I spent a lot of my life here, there's plenty of people I don't know, and there's obviously plenty of things I don't know. And there are so many folks that bring so much. So it's really exciting to me. I think it's just magnificent, because it's sort of grounded in this really loving, safe space. And there's excitement and knowledge and wisdom and kindness and community. So, I don't know if it can get much better, but I'm not going to keep trying, because it's working just beautifully.
Matt.
Can I say ditto on that? Simply put, the quality of the friendships here are extraordinary. And I don't think that my wife, Allie, and I could have just really ever imagined the life that we would have because of everybody here in the community that's here. And it keeps growing on a regular basis, which I think is the point of what everybody's been saying.
Well, I want to say ditto also. But Stuart was even more eloquent. We have a lot of people moving in from other parts of the country, and most of us are very happy to welcome them into the community. As I can just speak a lot to the farmers market, We have over 150 volunteers. A good number of them are local people who've been here, but so many are new and embrace our lifestyle and are kind and generous and outgoing, and I'm thrilled to live here.
Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, for all intensive purposes, I am new to this community. I've been here for 8 years now. But I was burnt out working in Philadelphia and moved to Lewes. I mean, I was drawn by the history, drawn by the ocean, but immediately I moved down here without a job lined up. I had the honor to work with Sharon at the farmer's market. I worked for Josh at Shore Break. I worked at the Swanadel Museum. And I started volunteering for this little organization, the Lewes Historical Society. And this is my home now. I'm honored to be a part of this community and constantly just blown away by it's something intrinsically unique about this community, historically and up through today. So, happy to be here.
Thanks. Okay. Those were great. Those were absolutely great. I know this is the one question you've all been excited about. Who do you want to see cast as you in Lewes, the movie? We've already had 2 answers. They were in our episodes. Tom Spell went with Ed Harris. Now, look at Tom. I mean, come on. It's like perfect. It's really perfect. Shook went with Denzel Washington. I have to admit, I wasn't expecting that one. So, Matt, starting with you, who do you want to see cast?
So 35 years ago, I was told repeatedly that I looked just like Fred Savage from the Wonder Years. So I'm gonna rewind time, and if the movie took place 35 years ago, we're going with that.
Stuart.
Brad Pitt, because my wife would like Brad Pitt to play me.
I'm just gonna go big or go home. Greta Gerwig. Why not?
Right.
She.
Jen?
Well, at first I thought Kathy Bates, and then I decided. Well, no, and I decided she was too cool for me. So Sharon, that's perfectly fine. And now I'm Joan Cusack.
Joan Cusack. All right. Sharon?
Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates.
Hands down.
Jeff?
Well, since Don Knotts is dead, I'm going to have to go with Bradley Cooper, right?
On a good day when my hair's longer again, I'd prefer Kit Harington of Game of Thrones. He's Jon Snow.
You do have, and I've said this to you before, and I mean to embarrass you, you have the best smoldering look of anyone in the room.
Chief? I'm changing to Tom Selleck.
Good call. All right, Shook, you get another chance. I'm gonna stick with Denzel Washington because.
Okay, we're going as a group. This is the walking group, and we've decided to go with. Who are we going with, ladies?
Book club or 80 for Brady.
We're going with all those lovely
Ladies
women.
of a certain age who like adventure and fun.
And
travel together.
Yes.
There we go.
And solve each other's problems.
And we're all in a book club together.
Yes, we are in reality.
Mr. Gordon, we're back to you.
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Huh.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Who would play Kevin?
Oh, he didn't think of his own.
Well, every time I look in the mirror, I'm really hoping to see someone else. But instead, it's Richard Dreyfuss. Shrugging his shoulders. Steve's
going to go with Billy Crystal.
Oh. I'm going to ask this to the group, and we're going to start with Susan. What is your favorite holiday tradition or event here in Lewes?
Well, my first answer is Lewes Dairy Eggnog, with just a splash of rum, just a little bit. But I think and I think we talked about this morning walking. We think it has to be the spirit of hospitality night. The lights, the shops being open, the people, some of the people we know, some of the people we don't know. But it's that whole Christmas small town spirit.
Yes.
Judy.
Mine is hospitality night. The bands in the street, the middle school band and the high school jazz band were just amazing. And just everybody there and seeing friends and shopping and maybe a little wine involved. It all just makes a wonderful experience.
Nancy.
Does it have to be the Christmas holiday or can it be a different holiday?
I intentionally just said holiday.
Okay, then I'm going to say the 4th of July. I like the boat parade. I like the games in town for the kids and the whole day, the Doodah parade. It's just a great day.
Carol.
Growing up, I was born and raised here, and I loved the Lewes Christmas parade, especially when I was growing up. There were a lot of bands, and I loved that from the junior high to the middle school and the high school bands, and from different towns that come together, and just loved the old time Christmas parade.
Patsy.
I'll agree with the hospitality night and the Christmas parade. They've always been special. I've marched in the parade in several different characters. But I'm going to go a little more personal, and one of our favorite family traditions is I go to Lloyd's every Christmas, before Christmas, and buy multiple packs of Milton sausage and Delaware-made Hughes Scrapple. Hughes Delaware-made Scrapple. And I take it over to Annapolis and give it to my 3 brothers. We've done it for over 30 years. And everybody talks on Christmas morning about their breakfast. So that's a local tradition that I do with my family.
Shook.
I have to say my favorite is the Bunny Bonanza. For the past 6 or 8 years, I've run the town Easter egg hunt, and it's wonderful to have hundreds of children come. We stuff 7,000 or 8,000 eggs, and we have a great time now. The Easter Bunny comes down the canal in a boat, and it's just been getting better every year, and I love to see the look on the kids' faces, especially some of them had never seen the Easter Bunny because of the pandemic. So the 3-year-old children and the 4-year-old had never had the experience of sitting on the Easter Bunny's lap. And I don't know what they say because you don't ask for gifts, but they love to go up and for me, it's the Easter egg hunt, the Bunny Bonanza.
Chief.
Well, I probably should say National Night Out because the police department hosts it. But actually, I agree with the ladies. It's hospitality night. Just good energy, good environment, and relatively light on public safety needs.
Andrew.
I should probably say Christmas house tour, but I'd say it's the trifecta of hospitality night, Christmas house tour, and the parade. Growing up, still one of my favorite movies is A Christmas Story, and I get that, I know it's 2023 and not the 50s, but that small town feel of just walking down the street. This is my first Christmas with my son, and it's magical. It's something really special in Lewes.
Will your son be getting a BB gun?
Not yet. Wait a year.
Jeff.
I think it's a tie for me between the house tour, not just because I'm sitting next to you, and the parade. I think the house tour offers everyone a glimpse into how people here live, what their homes are like, the history of some of the homes, and I think that's a wonderful insight. And then, of course, the parade brings everybody together to enjoy things in a more informal way. So those would be my 2. Yeah.
Thanks. Sharon.
I love the Doodah parade. I love how it's so uninhibited and people are so wacky and we can be wacky with them. And sorry, Tom, but some of us even carry a little beverage with us on.
He couldn't hear that. He was talking to someone. He missed that.
You missed that? Good. That's it.
Jen?
This was the hardest question to me because it was hard to think about one thing. And for me, it is the small town Americana run amuckness that makes all of these special times of year feel extra like fun and stupid in Lewes. I love that. And to be able to share that with the people who come here who, have never experienced anything like that before. I grew up in a tiny town in Kansas. It was pretty stupid. And I loved that about it. But yeah, so I like that. How about you, Heidi?
So I just like walking down the street in Lewes at Christmas time because the lights are on and it is like so cute. It's ridiculous. It's like quintessential cuteness. So I love all the things, but I think just being in Lewes, if you're going from one drop to the other, it feels good. So, yeah.
John?
Mine is easily the parade, and that's basically because you get to see the kids that are. We had BB babies also, and we're watching these kids grow up. They're in the parade. Teachers are in the parade. Business owners are in the parade. It just brings everybody out. Great energy. Easily the parade for me.
Thanks. Stuart?
For me, it's definitely the Doodah Parade, and that's just because it's like a vestige of old school Lewes, and seeing the insanity and the chaos that Sharon referred to, it's great to see that spark in a slightly controlled fashion, Chief, still alive and well, with the Shockley brothers drumming us from the front, and just when you squirt somebody with a water gun from who's here for their first Doodah Parade, and they look a little upset for a millisecond, and then they start smiling and laughing and realize that it's all just ridiculous. It's a magical day, so it's fun.
Matt?
Yeah, I just love the whole process of December with everybody's touched on Christmas weekend. It's incredible with the hospitality night and the parade. I love the day the snowflakes go up on the telephone pole. It's kind of like, okay, here we are. It's always, you always remember that moment. Yes, I know. Here, yeah, for sure.
Again, thanks so much to today's guests for joining us. As I've said before, you are the heart and soul of this podcast. Thanks to today's audience. This show really does feel different when we can see and hear people listening, laughing, groaning, and having fun. I hope we can do this again. And of course, thanks to you who are listening for sticking with us, for your comments and suggestions, and for being so supportive. Without you, our episodes would be, well, basically just two people sitting at a bar. I'm sorry, Matt, not that there's anything wrong with that. That's all. It's all good. This is our last episode of 2023. But here's some good news. There will be a second season of We in Lewes. In fact, we've already recorded our first 2 episodes for 2024. All of us with the show want to wish you the most wonderful holiday and an absolutely spectacular new year. Till January, this has been
We in Lewes, the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.